The book of Acts. It's the most historical book written by, we believe, Luke. And therefore, he as a doctor, liked dates, names, places, events. And so he put an awful lot that he sprinkled all the way through the book of Acts, dates and names. I don't want to go through all of them. Let's just take one. Let's take Acts chapter 18, verse 12. In Acts chapter 18, verse 12, we have the reference to Gallo as a proconsul. Now, Gallo is well known. He's a historical figure. Pliny talks about him in the late 1st century, mentions and refers to Gallo. And he never mentions that he is a proconsul. In fact, he says quite a bit about Gallo, but not that he's a proconsul. So many historians have jumped on this fact, and they said this proves that the book of Acts is in error, possibly because it was written in the 2nd century and then redacted back onto the 1st century. Whoever wrote it didn't understand that, didn't know that little-known fact, and so therefore they created a historical anachronism that's built into into the book of Acts. That was until the Delphi inscription was uncovered. When the Delphi inscription was uncovered in the last century, it mentions there that Gallo was a proconsul for 1 year, in 1 year alone, in 52 AD, proving that whoever wrote the book of Acts had been living at that time to have known that little-known event. Also supporting the fact that the book of Acts probably was written after 52 AD. Christ died in 33 AD, so within 20 years, you possibly have the book of Acts. Can we get any more accurate? Well, there are some events that happened in the early church that are not included in the book of Acts, such as the death of James, the brother of Jesus, in 62 AD. Why is that not included in the book of Acts? Because it probably happened after the book of Acts was written. The death of Paul in 64 AD. The death of Peter in 65 AD when he was crucified upside down. Or the death, not the death, but the insurrection by the Jews there in Jerusalem against the Romans in 66 AD, and then the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. All of these events had a huge impact on the early church. Why aren't they included? Because the book of Acts was already closed. So basically what we're saying is the book of Acts had to be written between 52 AD and 62 AD, within 20 to 30 years of Christ's death.